So this is the third film that I'm working with him. I've had the privilege of doing Maniratnam sir's Ravanan, Vasantha Balan's Kavya Thalaivan, and then of course this. But there is something about what he's done in this film. I don't know how exactly to articulate this. So when I flew in from the US, and from Dubai to Cochin, we were in the same flight. So the first thing I told him when I saw him is, sir, I don't know if I've ever felt this before for a film, but I feel like my performance would have been so much better if I had the music that you did with me when I was performing. I don't know how it could be better, but what he's done for this film, I almost feel like the music is a co-actor. Right. It's just magic that he's done. Yeah, I have another release coming up very soon. It's a Hindi film called Bade Miyan Chote Miyan. It's an Ali Abbas directorial produced by Pooja Entertainment. It stars Akshay sir and Tiger. And I play a very interesting character in it.
Was it a fun ride with them too?
Oh yeah. I mean, I had a lot of fun playing that character especially. Yeah. And Ali is a fantastic filmmaker.
Definitely. Hello and welcome to News 18 Showsha. Today we are here with a goat in the Malayalam industry, if I may say. We're here with Prithviraj Sukumaran for his next movie, The Goat Life, which is highly anticipated, by the way. Prithvi, if I may say that this is one of your best that we've seen so far, and we have seen you talking about the same. Take us through the whole experience of the movie.
I don't know if it can any longer be classified as a movie experience because it's just been, more like a part of my life now. I said yes to this film in 2008, 2009, and here we are in 2024. The film is about to release. So that's like a 16-year-long journey.
Correct.
I'm only 41 now, so 16 years of 41 is a substantial period of your life. When I said yes to this film, I was still single. I was obviously not a father. I had not turned producer. I had not turned director. So, I've gone through so many stages, transitions, so many steps of evolution in my life, both personally and as an actor. And all that has been a constant during the entire time span has been this one film. So I don't know if this can any longer be termed a movie experience. But yeah, it's been a long, long journey, very gratifying one. And it's just been one of those experiences that I think now will always remain as a bank for me.
Correct.
Going ahead in life, as an actor, as a person, as a human being. So the 28th of March is a culmination of a lot of things, not just for me, for everyone involved in this film. Yeah.
Correct. You also mentioned that, Blessy sir has been with this movie for 16 years.
Yes.
And you yourself are a director of 2 massive hits. Could you tell us, would you at any point for your artistic vision ever invest 16 years for a single project?
I really hope I have that in me. I really, now every time there's something that you want to absolutely submit yourself to be creating something that you have in your mind. I think Blessy and Aadajeevitham will always serve as that one yardstick with which you're all measured. Because make no mistake, Blessy was not a debut filmmaker trying to pull off his first film.
Exactly.
Back in 2008, he still was the most coveted filmmaker that every big star in the industry was dying to work with, and I know for a fact that he was the highest paid filmmaker back then. And for someone like him at that stage of his career to decide that no, I'm going to do this and this is the kind of time it will take and I'm going to give that kind of time to the film. It's just an absolute epitome of, submitting yourself to your vision.
True.
And I don't know if I'll ever do this or do that, but I hope I have it in me to submit myself like that. Yeah.
Of course. And he also has been an assistant to Padmarajan sir, so
yes,
definitely the kind of artistic vision is very different.
Yeah.
As an actor, if you have to go back to 2008-9 when you said yes for this film, and if you would have done this movie at that point of time, would it have been a different actor back then? How would you term your transformation in this last 16 years? I'm
sure it would have been different because we are all different people at different stages of our life, and the man that you are or the woman that you are will definitely reflect on your craft as an actor. My experiences over the past 16 years must have definitely been part of my portrayal, in Aadajeevitham. Maybe there are things that I've lost over the years. Maybe if this film had happened back in 2008, there might have been a couple more dimensions to Najib that are not there today.
Correct.
Maybe a younger me would have comprehended things differently. Maybe that was for the better. I would never know. But would it have been different? I'm sure it would have been different. Yeah.
Definitely. To top all this, we have A.R. Rahman sir giving the score, the music. What is your experience being with him?
So this is the third film that I'm working with him. I've had the privilege of doing Maniratnam sir's Ravanan, Vasantha Balan's Kavya Thalaivan, and then of course this. But there is something about what he's done in this film. I don't know how exactly to articulate this. So when I flew in from the US, and from Dubai to Cochin, we were in the same flight. So the first thing I told him when I saw him is, sir, I don't know if I've ever felt this before for a film, but I feel like my performance would have been so much better if I had the music that you did with me when I was performing. I don't know how it could be better, but what he's done for this film, I almost feel like the music is a co-actor. Right. It's just magic that he's done. It's just one of his, to me, one of his most influential works on me as an artist.
No doubt. You have gone through crazy transformation for this movie. If you had to highlight a few challenges, for the movie that you faced over these years, what would they be?
I mean, the biggest challenge was obviously the pandemic, because I went through, like you said, a drastic transformation. I first put on weight, which was all fun actually. I put on a lot of weight so that the change would seem all the more drastic. So you will also see the fat me in the film actually. So I put on a lot of weight, and then we shot all the fat portions. And we stopped shooting so that I could lose weight, and I lost weight, and I lost 31 kilos, and I had really hit my mark, in fact gone beyond what I was expecting. And we started shooting, and then we had to stop shoot because of the pandemic. And then we could restart only a year and a half later. So then I had to do the whole process once again. That was the most challenging part for me.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Could you take us through a day when it came to your transformation? How you lost 31 kilos, which was, I think you were supposed to lose like 25 kilos if I'm not wrong?
No, we never had a number.
Okay.
We never decided that this is the number of kilos I would lose.
Right.
It was always like, lose as much as I can.
Correct.
But even I personally never thought that this was possible. Yeah.
Right. But what was the most grilling part about it?
The hunger. Yeah, because it just involved, it didn't involve dieting, it involved not eating.
Correct.
So my transformation was majorly based on fasting. So there were days, there were times when I used to be on 3-day fast. So yeah.
Oh God, okay. I understand. In a previous interview, even during the press conference, you mentioned that this would be one of the first movies that you would show your daughter as well if she ever plans to watch your movies. Do you consider this Goat Life and RDG with them as the benchmark when it comes to Malayalam cinema?
I think as most things that are communicated in English language and then reported in Malayalam media, there is a bit that is lost in translation.
Very true, very true.
Yeah, so I'll repeat it again in English, and I hope it again, at least finds the right import. What I meant to say is, my daughter has not seen any of my films.
Correct.
For various reasons that I've explained in the same bite.
Yes.
But at some point, the operative word being at some point, when I think she's old enough and she has the comprehension to see something like RDG with them, this is a film that I would proudly show her.
Of course.
And if at that point, if she asks me what does it mean to be an actor, this is a film I'd show her.
Definitely.
And this is a story I tell her about what it meant to be playing Najib. Yeah.
That's very true. But would you also consider this to be your standard benchmark that you've set now for yourself probably?
So it's extremely difficult to be picking one character and one performance and setting that as a benchmark, not just for me, for any actor. Because the process that you go through for approaching different characters, although they remain the same, it's very different in terms of how, what the import is like. But in terms of how much can I give from within me for a film, how much can I submit myself as an actor for a film? Yeah, you're right. This is definitely the benchmark now.
Right. Thanks to OTT platforms, we have seen a lot more audience getting exposed to the Malayalam cinema. And right now, all of a sudden, we have had this huge praising that we're finally getting from Malayalam cinema. But Malayalam cinema content has always been very nice, according to me personally at least. Do you feel right now we're finding finally the pan-Indian audience and much more?
So I firstly don't even think that it's a phenomenon that is just for Malayalam cinema that's happening. There is now a system, multiple systems in place that makes cinema accessible, to the general audience. So somebody sitting, in Jharkhand, if they hear of a great Assamese film, there will be a method or a way in which they can see the film. 15 years ago, it would have been impossible. You either would have to have an Assamese television channel playing in your TV, or you have to travel to Assam to see that film in a theatre there. But today, that's not the case. Now, we are in a time and age where systems of exhibition, systems where through cinema is being displayed, have really evolved. And luckily for Malayalam cinema, that time and age sort of coincides with a time and age where we are making great content.
Correct.
But as always, I refuse to take the higher pedestal and say we are better than everybody else. This is not. Yeah, we are going through a great phase. We have wonderful writers, directors, actors, producers, all operating in the industry at the same time, consistently churning out great content. But it's not that every film we make, is great. For like I was just telling the previous person I was speaking to, for people outside of Kerala, you hear only about the good films.
Correct.
Like for every Manjumil Boys and for every Brahmayugam or for every Premalu, there are 5 other films that are happening that you don't hear of. But the consistency of great content being made is delightfully high in Malayalam film industry right now. And I'm glad that me included are operating in the industry at this time and age.
Right. But do you see any particular reason for why such kind of writing and such kind of good content is coming from Malayalam industry in particular?
See, nobody ever asked this when there was a wave of great content in Hindi cinema. Nobody ever asked the why.
Correct.
Nobody ever asked Tamil cinema why. When Anurag Kashyap and Vikramaditya Motwane and Dipakar Banerjee and all broke into the scene and made path-breaking mainstream films in Bollywood, nobody asked why. So I don't understand that.
No, I get your point. No problem. But tell me something in terms of if you had to brief your career, your transformation very personally now, not just about the movie, but ever since you debuted and you made your scene, how would you say that a young Prithviraj has been the 41-year-old legend that he is right now?
I'm nowhere near being a legend because I'm still working in an industry that has Mammootty sir, Mohanlal sir all actively, so I'm nowhere near being a legend. But, I remember long back I've had this, I've said this to someone and even today I repeated the same thing. I would never stake claim to being the most talented or the most gifted. But I've always had a good shot and I still have a very good shot at being the most hardworking. So that is something I'll hope to maintain.
And that keeps you going every time?
Yeah, I mean, see, this is all I know. It's not that, I'm not doing anybody a favor. This is all that I know. Cinema is the only craft that I know. And of all the crafts within cinema, actor is what I primarily am. So if not for that, what do I submit myself to? So, yeah.
Recently, like you mentioned, Manjumail Boys went into the 100 crore club. And we've seen a couple of movies, even your movies, enter the 100 crore club as well. Do these numbers make a difference as a filmmaker or as a producer?
So, I mean, see, big numbers means a lot of people have seen your film.
Correct.
And that is ultimately why you make films. You want a large number of people to go to the theatres and see your films. So, bigger numbers mean more people. So, in that way, of course, it makes sense. But these benchmarks, right, like 50 crore, 100 crore, these benchmarks are all not permanent because these will keep changing. So, if you, let's say the first 50 crore film of Malayalam, I believe was Drishyam. At that time, it seemed like an unsurmountable thing, like nobody could breach that. Then, a couple of years later, 100 crores became. Then it thought, oh, no way this can be repeated. Then Lucifer did it again, then we are thinking that's it, that's the absolute glass ceiling. Then 2018 came and, did some other number. Now Manjumail Boys has done some other number.
Of course.
So these things will keep differing because multiple factors involved. But ultimately, yeah, numbers matter because numbers means footfalls.
Correct.
Yeah. And that's what you make cinema for.
Correct, I understand. Do you think that, in future, now since you have a lot of pan-Indian movies, now we are no more categorizing it as a Malayalam movie or a Hindi movie, right now pitching it as a pan-Indian movie. Do you think in future, in the near future, you will again be a part of such a magnanimous project? Do you have anything in the future that we can expect?
I mean, I hope every film, travels the way I hope Aadu Jeevitham will. But the mistake that we sometimes end up making in this whole newfound pan-India phenomenon is that we set out to make a pan-Indian film.
Right.
You cannot make a pan-Indian film, a film becomes pan-Indian. But what you can do is to give every opportunity that you can to the film to try and be that phenomenon. And what does that mean? That means you make the effort, invest enough money to make sure that it's released well. It is accessible to people across the country, across the world. That, you know, like say for example, Aadajivitham, Goat Life is being released by leading distribution networks within India and outside India. So that effort has to be there, and you really need to give the film every opportunity it deserves to try and be the phenomenon that it could be. But there is no way, like you and I can sit here today and take a paper and say, let's make a pan-Indian film.
Correct.
It doesn't happen that way.
Correct. We had Mohanlal sir during the audio launch as well. Has he seen the movie? What was his reaction?
No, he hasn't seen the film. I mean, he was, we both of us just flew in from the US.
Correct.
We were shooting in the US together for my directorial. So, no, he hasn't seen the film. But of course, he knows, you know, everything pretty much about the film. He used to be in constant touch even when we were stuck you know, it's very special because Lucifer, my first directorial that starred Mohanlal sir, as soon as I finished shoot is when I went to shoot the first desert schedule of Aadajivitham in Jordan. Now we refer to it as the fat desert schedule. And I edited Lucifer sitting in my tent in the desert in Jordan. Because I flew in my editor also to Wadiram, and that's where I sat and edited Lucifer. And even while the VFX work was happening, I used to be on a Cerebro app, and every evening after shoot, I used to, the VFX team used to update each shot on Cerebro, and I used to give them corrections. So that happened when, you know, the first schedule of Aadajivitham was happening. And as we speak today, before the release of Aadajivitham, I finished Lucifer and it released. Then I directed another film called Bro Daddy, and I'm in the middle of shooting the sequel to Lucifer. So,
Okay. So right now the schedule in US is for Lucifer too.
Yeah.
Okay. So so when are we expecting it, if we can?
The release?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's too early to say.
It's too early to say. Okay. Apart from this, last question, what can we expect from you in the future?
From me?
Yeah.
You can expect more cinema.
In the recent months, anything that is...
Oh yeah, I have another release coming up very soon. It's a Hindi film called Bade Miyan Chote Miyan. It's an Ali Abbas directorial produced by Pooja Entertainment. It stars Akshay sir and Tiger, and I play a very interesting character in it.
Was it a fun ride with them too?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I had a lot of fun playing that character, especially. Yeah, and Ali is a fantastic filmmaker.
Definitely. On that note, thank you so much for your time, Prithvi. Thank you so much. Lovely having you.
Thank you so much.